statues and plaques, it's a waste of time.
I'm not going to waste my time trying to worry about these statues they got all over the country. I'm 54 years old. I've never thought about those statues a day in my life. I think if you ask most black people, to be honest, they ain't thought a day in their life about those stupid statues.
Back with me, the political panel, Patrice Lee Onwuka and Danielle McLaughlin. You're a Democrat strategist, Danielle. What do you think of Charles Barkley's comment?
I understand what he's saying, and I think particularly in this case, we've got a couple of plaques that were there since almost the end of the Civil War. The question around these statues is not when they were put up, but why.
But why take down George Washington? What are you going to do?
No, I'm actually in agreement.
You're going to take George Washington off the dollar bill next?
No, I don't think it's a good. Well, I don't think that's going to happen. These were put up to celebrate and memorialize war dead. This wasn't about reinforcing the idea of slavery or trying to revisit the World War, which happened in the Jim Crow and the Civil Rights era. So I say this probably should have been kept up. I think that we can get a bit crazy here.
What do you think, Patrice?
I mean, it's ironic. He was one of the founders of this church, and to know that his money, which was spent on a pew, is now being kind of tossed out of the window. I wonder for the people who claim that they're aggrieved, are they there for a religious experience or a faith experience, or are they there just because they want to try to stir something up? You know, I mean, I think it's hard to say it for us to just remove all of these statutes and all these plaques as though that's going to remedy any past ills. In fact, it's like suppressing a bad memory. It doesn't deal with the underlying issue. And I think we need to teach the lessons and learn from the past rather than trying to erase it as though it didn't exist.
These plaques are more than just about history, though. President Washington frequently attended Mass at this church, as did Lee and many others. Money was donated to the church to help begin the parish's endowment fund. I mean, does this change the argument about these plaques, if they should have been removed? I mean, historical figures went to this church, Danielle.
They were congregants, and these plaques were put on, as I said, just after the end of the Civil War. I think they were there to memorialize these two very important historical figures, however you feel about them. And I think this is overreach. It's up to the congregation, of course, but I think this is taking it a little bit far.
Patrice, back in August, President Trump asked the question, where does this stop, in reference to the removal of Confederate statues. So, Patrice, where does this stop?
I mean, I don't think it does. You can continue to look through history and find presidents who are unpopular, particularly those who are Republicans. And I think that's where it's going to continue to go. At the end of the day, it does no one any good, especially young people today who need to learn from the past, nor does it remedy any sort of issues or injustices that have been done to people.
All right, Patrice and Danielle, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. We're going to have more news after the break. We'll be right back. Don't go away.